finally we are back with our Road to 300 BPM video series. So now I had a break of about 2 weeks, I think a bit more than 2 weeks already. The first week I was busy with moving to the new house and also building my new rehearsal and recording room, which turned out amazing. You're gonna see this one today. And the second week I spent that one with my family in London. And now we are back here in Vienna and it's time to play some drums again. Big topic for today is beta weights actually. You know, the workout today is not gonna be as exciting because I'm just gonna try to get back into the groove. I still, I feel good today, so I'm pretty sure that the workout is gonna be good as well. I'm still on my way to 300 BPM until the end of the year. Now it's September, so we still got some time left, all good there. Big topic for today is beta weights. And in the past I talked about beta weights as a useful practicing tool to slow down the beta swing when learning the ankle technique. So those of you that suffer from this nervous twitching motion, I told you that beta weights, they helped me and they're helping our students at the Drum Technique Academy. So this might be useful for you as well if you want to slow down. But actually last week, one of my students had an issue with his beta weights and using them properly. And so I decided to record a video and talk about this today as well. Because actually there are some setup mistakes that can happen. And if you set up your pedals and especially your bass drum or practice pad in a specific way, then beta weights are not gonna help you. So we're gonna talk about this towards the end of the video. And right now I'm already close to my new home, my new rehearsal room, so we're gonna start practicing right away. Welcome to the new rehearsal room. Not completely done yet, but I'm excited to finally have the chance to practice in my own basement. So it will be way easier in the future to record videos. So the plan for today, actually after this long break, my left ankle feels way better. Yeah, it had time to rest, so rest and heal does wonders. So for today, when I set up the drums, I already practiced for a couple of minutes and 180 felt great. So this will be the starting tempo for our workout. Again, a short workout routine. So the plan is to just practice for 20 minutes, only focusing on double bass, of course. And I'm going to start at 180. Then if I feel good, after 5 minutes, I'm going to increase to 200 beats per minute. Then again, if I'm feeling really good, then I'm going up to 220. And if that is possible, then for the final 5 minutes, I'm going to go to 240 beats per minute. But I can't promise that yet. So that depends on if I'm feeling good at 220 and if it's tight. Because if it's sloppy and I'm struggling at 220, then I'm not going to increase to 240. Axis pedals, feeling great once again. So let's do this. So next up, 200 beats per minute, 180 felt okay. I'm happy with the beta swing so far. So let's try 200 beats per minute. Next up, 220 beats per minute. Let's do this. All right, now it's time for 240. 220 felt okay, not super happy, but okay. So I'm gonna try 240. And of course, mainly short bursts, trying to relax as much as possible. Hopefully I'm going to be happy with the beta swing. Let's wait and see. Now, done with 240 beats per minute. Not perfect, not always on point, but I was still quite relaxed, which is good news. And yeah, that's a good starting point. We're going to push forward from here. And right now, as promised in the beginning, for the end of this video, we're going to talk about beta weights, how to use them, and actually what can go wrong when using beta weights. Because again, back to the big advantage you get from beta weights, from using beta weights, is that you are able to slow down the ankle technique and work your way down the BPM ladder. But actually, there are some things that can go wrong when using beta weights, and then you don't get the full training or practicing effect. And that's why we're going to talk about this. So now let's move on and talk about that. Welcome back to the final part of this video. And in this one, we're going to talk about beta weights. So really quickly, we're going to talk about beta weights and how they can help us work our way down the BPM ladder when using the ankle technique. And we're going to talk about what can go wrong as well, because that's stuff that has happened to me personally. And also I see this happening to my students at the Drum Technique Academy from time to time that are working their way down the BPM ladder. And actually it's really easy to avoid those pitfalls. So first of all, let's start with how to pick and choose the ideal beta weights for you. And actually, there's just one thing that I can tell you to avoid, and that's beta weights that weigh less than 10 grams. Because with a beta weight like that, you don't really get the benefits of slowing down the betas. That's just not enough weight to do that. So for beta weights, you want at least 20 grams like this one right here, 30, 40 grams like this one right here. 40 is already a bit heavier. As I also know that Axis Percussion, they offer beta weights with, I think, 45 or 50 grams. Quite heavy, but still do the job and work way better than lightweight beta weight, 5 to 10 grams. So let's first talk about why beta weights are even helpful when it comes to working on the ankle technique and working your way down the BPM ladder. For me personally in the past, and also my students at the academy, everyone has a certain starting tempo with this fast twitching motion. For most drummers, it's between 170, 190, sometimes 200 beats per minute. And it can be quite difficult to work your way down the BPM ladder. And that's exactly where beta weights are helping us out big time. So if you attach a beta weight either in the middle of the beta shaft or right here, right below the bass drum beta. So what's happening actually after the bass drum beta hits the bass drum or the bass drum pad, on the way back, this additional weight helps you. Basically, it's pulling the beta back like this. Cool thing about this is, first of all, if your foot is right here on the footboard, you got way more weight moving back, and this basically also trains your leg on this up motion, because it's easier to push down and get used to this one in comparison to relaxing and let the beta return all the way. So the beta weight becomes a practicing tool that's pushing back. And the second big benefit when using a beta weight is that automatically the beta will start to return way more. So that's when it's easier to get that big 90-degree beta angle that we want at certain tempos. So for all those drummers that struggle with that fast twitching motion, actually their beta swing is happening somewhere right here. So here's the big pitfall that we want to avoid right here. This has happened to me in the past, and right now actually I had a student at the academy struggling with the same issue as well. So when you are working on the ankle technique and you're currently at this point where you have this fast twitching motion and you can't control it yet, then yes, it's a good time to start using beta weight. But you have to be really careful that the impact point, so the point in time where the bass drum beta hits the pad or the bass drum, at that exact impact point, you want a 90-degree angle between the bass drum beta shaft and the floor. Always 90 degrees. And what has happened to me in the past, and also to my student, is something like this. The impact point was way past this 90-degree angle. And the big issue with this is, if you're stuck with this fast twitching motion, then your beta swing is going to be small, going to be relatively small. So you're going to move back and forth in this area. Yes, you might hit the bass drum pad, but again, the range of motion is really small and the beta is moving back and forth in this area. So the main reason why we are using a beta weight is actually we want the beta weight to help us pull the beta back, further back like this. But if you're stuck with a beta swing in this kind of range of motion, then the additional beta weight actually has no real effect or benefit for you. You want your beta to move further back to get the full benefit of this extra weight right here. So for myself and my student, what was really helpful is to move that impact point further to the front. You got a 90-degree angle between the beta shaft and the floor. This way, the majority of your beta swing is going to happen right here. And as soon as you get in this area, the beta weight really starts to show its extra effect and its benefits, and going to start pulling the beta back, and this will help you to slow down the beta swing. And the final topic, the position of the beta weight on the beta shaft. So one thing that can happen if you place the beta weight right below the bass drum beta is that the pedals will start to feel extremely heavy. So especially at slower tempos, even when you're using a full leg motion, it becomes really difficult to control the pedal like that. So if you find yourself struggling at slower tempos suddenly, since you started using beta weights, then I actually recommend, and again, this has worked for me as well, to move the beta weight to the middle of the beta shaft. Right here, you still get the benefit of the beta weight pulling back like this, but it's way easier to control, especially if you're using a full leg motion at slower tempos as well. So when I first started working my way down the BPM ladder, actually the first position I used was this one for my beta weights. Then when I was down at 160, 150, I moved my beta weights to this position. I didn't really need them that much anymore. Then at one point I was able to play and work my way down to 140. Then I lowered the beta weight all the way to the bottom position. Actually right here, you don't really get a huge effect from the beta weight. And then at one point, I just got rid of them completely. So if you want me to cover a certain topic next in our 300 BPM challenge video series, then just comment below. I'm happy to talk about pedals, spring tension, beta angle, pedal adjustments, practice routines, techniques, and much more. So looking forward to your comments. I wish you a great day. Cheers from Vienna. Bye-bye.